Your dollar further.
One for all and all for one is the way we play at Box Hill. We are the mighty fighting Hawks.
And Box Hill did have a win, and they go into the grand final next Sunday. It's 29 minutes before 10 o'clock. You're listening to the Monday morning program with Peter Cassidy. My great pleasure to welcome back, after an absence of 6 months, Graham Elder from Neighbourhood Watch. Good morning, Graham.
Good morning, Peter, and good morning all. Yes, it's been 6 months since I was here, and it's great to be back.
And we've missed you terribly.
I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have.
But Graham, just before we do go on, because of the time from over which you haven't been here, perhaps you could just fill our listeners in on your position within Neighbourhood Watch, the organisation.
Yes, certainly. I'm on the state board of Neighbourhood Watch these days and hold the position of secretary. So all those little legal bits and pieces I get to look after for Neighbourhood Watch Victoria, and also treasurer of Neighbourhood Watch in Whitehorse.
Oh, okay. Well, you've got two responsibilities essentially. One at branch level, one at state level.
Yeah, and
well
also then at our local level up in Mont Albert North.
Okay.
Involved there. So at the 3 levels.
I'm surprised you get time to come in here at all with a portfolio like that.
I'll have to speak quickly.
That's right. Well, it has been 6 months, but it's great to have you back.
Yes, well, the president of Neighbourhood Watch, Ray Summers, who normally comes in, sends his regards, and he'll be back in the coming months. I guess it all depends what happens to North Melbourne in the footy.
Yes, that's right.
He is a very fervent North Melbourne man.
Oh, yes. Oh, well, that will be interesting.
So this morning I'd like to start by talking about Neighbourhood Watch organisation at a state level, because that's something that I can give you a little bit more inside. A major change occurred in Neighbourhood Watch in June 2012 when Jill Metz was appointed state manager. It's hard to believe that's over 2 years ago too, and she was the first employee of Neighbourhood Watch in Victoria, because prior to that the program was managed fully by Victoria Police, plus of course all the many dedicated volunteers. Jill's appointment was made possible with financial support from the new state government back then in 2012. So with Victoria Police pulling back somewhat from the management of Neighbourhood Watch, just after Jill's appointment, a new board structure was also implemented. And the volunteers who had always been elected to the board were joined by some new members from outside Neighbourhood Watch who'd brought with them experience and expertise in business, including finance, change management, and those sorts of things. So we had a reinvigorated board. I must stress, when I said that the police pulled back somewhat, they only pulled back a bit from the management. There was a structure in the city called the Safer Communities Unit. It's still there, but it used to run Neighbourhood Watch. So the partnership between the community and Victoria Police is still as strong as it ever was, but we just run our own part of the affairs. So the change is that the Neighbourhood Watch organisation in Victoria now operates more autonomously and manages its own affairs rather than the police managing.
And Graham, if I may interrupt, and you may not have an answer to this question immediately, but I guess it has been on your mind, given that there may be a change of government, state government, is it possible that support may be withdrawn by an incoming government?
The funding,
regardless of the colour?
Well, the funding is until June next year.
Okay.
And we've already prepared a pretty good case to continue the funding.
That's good news.
Because a lot of the work that Neighbourhood Watch is doing is work that otherwise either, unfortunately, may not be done, or would have to be done by paid police members.
Okay, makes good sense.
So Neighbourhood Watch supports the police by doing those little things that end up being very important, like letterbox dropping and delivering pamphlets and keeping the public informed, amongst other things.
Sure, good.
But Neighbourhood Watch does remain the most successful community-based crime prevention and safety organisation, and since the changes, it's been expanding and becoming more involved in a wide variety of innovative programs, in addition to the more traditional things that have been the trademark of Neighbourhood Watch over the past 30 years or more. Well, as one of my board colleagues remarked recently, it's so much more than just newsletters. In my view, though, the newsletters delivered by the volunteers are still an important part of the communication strategy, but these days it's not the only one. At a recent Neighbourhood Watch State Forum, which are held every quarter, we went up to Bendigo because they've usually been held in the city, and of course a lot of the country people can't get down to them. Some can, some can't.
Yeah.
But we went up to Bendigo, and on that night the CEO, Jill Metz, and that's her new title from State Manager, she's now the CEO, outlined the range of programs that have been initiated in the past year or so. Now, not all of these operate right across the state, because each local government area committee, like Whitehorse, our local area committee, may decide what issues are important and often in conjunction with local police, of course, decide what programs will work best and what will have the biggest bang for the buck in their own area. However, the cooperation between all these groups usually sees good ideas quickly migrate from one place to another. But just to give you a flavour of the wide range of activities that are on the go at the moment, and also it's interesting to note they cover a wide range of age groups. So at the youngest level, there's a kindergarten program run by Neighbourhood Watch in the city of Casey. It's aimed at youngsters very basically learning their name, their address and their phone number, which is a very important start. There's a dress-up. I believe it's a dress-up. KC Dog goes out to the kindergartens
I like it.
and runs the session, distributing cards and other goodies to the kids. What they have developed, that program, could easily be transferred anywhere else if you had someone that would dress up as a dog.
Why are you looking at me?
No. Moving on to the primary school ages, the projects at that group include the Junior Watcher activity book, which originated with our neighbours in Manningham and has now been adopted by several other local government areas, including Whitehorse.
Oh, I've seen a copy of that. It's excellent.
Yes,
Yeah.
The activity book covers crime prevention and safety concepts with puzzles and other activities. So we use them actually in Whitehorse. That we distribute them to primary school groups when our local crime prevention officer, leading Senior Constable Beck Millen, visits. So on request and as other duties permit, and our Neighbourhood Watch groups in local areas are trying to organise these, Beck can visit a school and talk to the youngsters about her police work and help build a good relationship, a trusting relationship with the police. And also, Neighbourhood Watch volunteers have shortened and altered old police uniforms so that kids can dress up, and they love it. I'm pretty sure that when this program is put onto the website that I saw some photos of the kids dressed up, and I hope they go on because it's quite good.
Yeah.
Now, following on from the activity book, when you get a little bit older, you can't have books, you've got to have computers. Mm-hmm. So our friends in Manningham got back onto work and commenced the development of a computer game to teach more of that crime prevention and safety principles. This was funded by several Neighbourhood Watch groups in this region and is now available on the Neighbourhood Watch website. We hope to expand the game in the future with more quiz questions and mini games on crime prevention and safety. Another very successful program run by Neighbourhood Watch and the police in Mildura has encouraged young Aboriginal boys to join the Cubs. This is a fantastic program and it's been a great success. The families and the community have given strong support for the program, and it's now making a real difference not only to the Cubs but to entire families in the community at large. The boys have become a part of a Cub pack, they've formed new friendships, and the police say that their chances of getting into mischief have been greatly reduced.
It's always good.
Well, there's another project that could be adopted and moved into other CALD. And I'm sorry, it's a word that, or an abbreviation we use all the time, culturally and linguistically diverse communities. So you could move that into other areas where there's a problem and get the youngsters involved.
Get them involved, yeah.
You'll hear that term, Cald, a couple of times before I finish. So culturally and linguistically diverse. Neighbourhood Watch is also very keen to involve youth, and the CEO meets regularly with her peers from Scouts, Guides and Youth Affairs to determine how best we can work together. It's certainly agreed that we need to use technology to get to that age group. So we're working on that too. Money has been put aside for a GPS-oriented phone app, if you understand all that, Peter.
Yeah.
And the app is currently under construction and it's planned to provide a safe place online, especially for youngsters with their first phone. It will include links to other relevant help organisations and support services. And the aim will be to market it to the parents of youngsters who are just starting out with phones and things, because it's easy to get yourself into a bit of trouble using those sorts of things. So there'll be more details come out as development progresses. Still on the technology side, Neighbourhood Watch has also become involved in a program called Think You Know, which is right across Australia, which is an internet safety program which delivers interactive training for parents, carers and teachers through schools and organisations. So several Neighbourhood Watch people have been accredited as trainers in that. Also, under the heading of technology, but moving into a broader group, Police and Neighbourhood Watch are making much greater use of social media to communicate. In several local government areas, the police program iWatch, which is on Facebook, are accessed by large numbers of residents, keeping them up to date with local happenings and allowing feedback. In addition, many normal neighbourhood, when I say normal, any Neighbourhood Watch groups themselves have set up their own Facebook and Twitter accounts. So just as an example, actually, we watched this happening the other night. In the Latrobe region in Gippsland, the local police iWatch, which is run by the police and strongly supported by Neighbourhood Watch there, has 8,600 followers. Messages from police are rapidly disseminated across the local community, and in addition, live reports from their Neighbourhood Watch meetings go online. So
that's terrific.
Just saw it in action at the State Forum in Bendigo. Live reports were being sent from that meeting in Bendigo to the people in Latrobe, so that they could keep up with the meeting and see what was happening. So Latrobe's a long-established Neighbourhood Watch group, but they suggested that new Neighbourhood Watch groups should set up Facebooks as a priority.
Makes
I know
sense.
this is happening, especially in some of the growth areas like Point Cook and Casey. I think the first thing that Point Cook did when they set up their Neighbourhood Watch was set up a Facebook page. So it's quite interesting. Next, there's a whole range of the more traditional Neighbourhood Watch programs. Obviously, I mentioned before the ubiquitous quarterly or monthly newsletter that goes into the letterboxes, keeps people up to date. But also there are electronic versions now. And I know that you receive the Whitehorse e-News, Peter, and if anyone is interested in that, it's got lots of information in it. If you could send us an email, and I'll mention the email address later. SafePlate, Neighbourhood Watch volunteers providing one-way screws to secure number plates.
Great idea.
And there's one of those on shortly, 4th of October, Bunnings down at Vermont South. We're involved every month in Whitehorse in activities aimed at reducing theft from vehicles and homes. So the Neighbourhood Watch volunteers get out with our police colleagues, either checking cars in car parks to make sure that people aren't leaving things out, and also delivering pamphlets and so on. Last week there was an exercise at a local railway station car park, and the team found that there was a marked reduction in things left in vehicles. So maybe after these years the message is getting through. Also involved in graffiti removal, brochures and education information to promote personal safety and so on. We've sponsored police equipment from time to time, like police bike patrols and helping the police with other activities that they may not normally be able to get out from their budget. Another one that's been working in various areas is called Community Watch. So it involves maybe watching the local school during the school holidays, or the local CFA or the Scout Hall, because they're left vacant for a long period.
Indeed, they are.
And Community Watch gets a few people to look after them. Absolutely devastating to hear that there have been several attacks on CFA premises recently. In fact, our own CEO, Jill Metz, is involved in one, and their CFA station was trashed and the vehicle stolen and burnt. It's hard to believe that happens. At the next age group, the older group, there are even things happen. Community registers. Many neighbourhood watch groups are heavily involved in the operation of their local community register, which helps people who are older, have a disability, or are isolated to feel more secure in their home. And in fact, as soon as I leave here, I'll be running across the road to the police station to do my shift there for this morning. Neighbourhood Watch, in conjunction with Murcott's Driving Excellence, has also run a very successful pilot session for older drivers. We'll see how that extends later. It was attended by the Assistant Commissioner for Road Policing, Robert Hill, and featured on the 9 News on that Sunday night. So that was very successful. There are a number of other things that Neighbourhood Watch is getting involved in, but you can see that statement made by that board colleague of mine. It's not just about newsletters anymore.
No, it's certainly not.
A very broad range of functions. But before we run out of time, and I think I might have already outstayed my welcome a little if this clock's right.
Never. Not that clock.
Well, it's the only one I've got to go by. I just want to put in a few plugs for important upcoming events in Whitehorse. I mentioned Sunday, 4th of October, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll be conducting a Safe Plate Day at Bunnings, where for a gold coin donation, we can not only supply the one-way security screws, but we'll have volunteers on hand to fit them for you so that your number plate becomes less of a target. Unfortunately, the police tell us that it is something that is still happening again. Yeah. People are having their number plate stolen, and as petrol prices increase, so the chances
will continue.
So they can use your plates to drive away from the service station. On Wednesday, 15th of October, our areas down in Box Hill South and Burwood invite you to attend their combined meeting. It's at 7:30 p.m, Wednesday 15th, at the Wattle Park Chapel Hall, 234 Elgar Road in Box Hill South, and supper is included, so there's an added attraction.
Indeed.
Their guest is Alison Summers, who will speak about her role in Neighbourhood Watch. Alison is the Neighbourhood Watch Whitehorse Secretary, and she also manages the state website, so she's been involved in quite a few of the things that have happened. She's also held many other positions with Neighbourhood Watch and has been awarded a State Award of Honour. And I think Alison has been on this program. So.
Yes, she has.
And finally, on Sunday the 19th of October, the whole community will be involved in the Whitehorse Spring Festival, and Neighbourhood Watch, the Whitehorse Community Support Register, and Victoria Police will be there in force as usual. So please visit us, get some information on the good work of these three organisations, and hopefully, as we have in other years, there'll be some attractions like a police vehicle or police officers to have a chat with, and we'll see how we go. But that's always been a good day. And as I said before, the Whitehorse e-News. To subscribe, simply send your email address to whitehorse@nhw.com.au and request the Whitehorse e-News, and we'll put you on the mailing list for it. And if you missed anything from today's show, hopefully if the technology
has worked, yes.
It will be on the website next week, and you can catch up on the last couple of shows as well.
Well, that's wonderful, Graham. Thank you so much. Always good to see you, but always good to have news about what's happening in a very important organisation, Neighbourhood Watch. And I'll look forward to catching up with you at some time in the future. We're not sure when, but it will be some time.
Hope so.
Good on
Thanks
you,
very
Graham.
much.
Thanks, Graham. It's 9 minutes to 10 o'clock. You're listening to the Monday morning program. This is Linda Ronstadt, and still within the sound of my voice.
Where have you gone?